We got to play the game of life with the cards that we've been dealt. You can't hand it back. You can't say reshuffle. None of that shit. There's the card. Play, motherfucker.
Ghost Cult Magazine welcomes in the legendary Benji of Skindred. How are you doing today, sir?
I'm fantastic. Thank you very much, brother. I'm very well.
I'm so glad to hear it. It has been such a crazy year in the world. I can't believe it's a year of this madness.
It's like a bad episode of Black Mirror, you know?
Yes. I hope you're good. I hope the band is good. All your family and friends are
yeah.
okay.
You know what? You know, I've lost some friends to this thing, but I fingers crossed, I've done good so far, real well. The band has done really well as well. Everybody's healthy, everybody's strong, everybody's excited about, you know, going forward and pushing life forward and moving on from this thing, you know?
Right on. I mean, beyond Skindred being around for 20 plus years, you have a 30 plus year career in the music business.
Yeah, man. I mean,
this has to be the longest period of time you've been off the road.
Ever. Listen, let me tell you something, right? I've been with this girl 10 years, right? And I've never been with her for more than like 4 weeks, right? So this has been 1 year that I've been home with her, and it's a fucking incredible that she ain't under the patio, you know. I now I know I love her. You know what I'm saying, bro? Because I just, you know, I've been traveling for 30 years solid every other week or so, really. The whole world, the whole planet, from New Zealand to, you know, all over the place, you know, constantly, like, you know. And here we are, sat down, but I'm spending the time wisely, being very productive, working on a lot of new Skindred stuff. I got like 6 or 7 different projects I'm working on, so I'm using the time wisely. As much as this pandemic have taken away, it's definitely given us, as musicians and artists, time to craft and work on our craft, you know? So that's been the blessing.
That's awesome. Same thing over here. We've been just trying to be as creative as possible as the only logical step. I don't know what else to do except keep on keeping on.
That's it.
Yeah, man, you look fit. You look well. I hope you've been taking care of yourself.
I'm riding my bike 14 miles a day. I'm good, bro. I'm trying not to have too much chicken. You know, instead of having 4 pizzas, I'm having 2, you know, which kills me, but I'm trying my best, you know, because the way I look at it, this is an opportunity to get right. This is an opportunity to fix up. This is an opportunity to come back sharper, you know? So it's not suddenly going, oh, I'm not going to do well. I'm going to take the worst situation and make the best situation out of it, you know? And that's what I've done, like with the health and food and exercise, you know, I just took advantage of it. And because I don't, normally I'm running for planes, you know. That's all we ever seem to be doing.
Right, planes, trains, and automobiles.
Exactly, yeah.
I feel kind of bad because, you know, Big Things was such a fantastic record, and we really didn't get you over here to America or North America yet.
Mm-hmm. It was funny because we reacted really well at radio, and we went over with NPE. We did a tour, but then when Big Things come out. And that's my jam. We reacted at radio. We were supposed to go back, but it just never happened. You know, we're waiting for the right time. You know, I'm sure that as long as we all stay strong and healthy, we'll get to do it another time.
Right on. And you came from really like the hardcore and DIY scene and made your own scene. I was going to ask you, you know, obviously everything being equal, as a person who's used to yelling into an electric stick for a living on top of people and having that energy transfer back and forth. When are you going to feel comfortable getting back on a small stage in a small room? Festivals will be easy.
You know, I wouldn't go. I mean, if I play the show tonight, I wouldn't go up there in a mask with gloves and all that shit. I would just go and rock, because, you know, I mean, what a goddamn shame if we got to wear masks and gloves and the audience got to stay away from each other. I don't think I'd like rock and roll as much as I did if it wasn't sweaty and stinky and dirty. Because that's where I was born. I was born there. You know, I don't have all of a sudden be fucking between songs using hand sanitizer. You know, what the fuck? You know, I don't want that. You know, and I don't think I would. I think even if there's someone in there who's sick, then they're fucking sick. So everyone's going to be sick. It's as simple as that. I'm not going to let the virus or whatever the fuck it is dictate to my performance. When the time comes to going on stage, I'm going on stage and I'm rocking out even more than I ever did before. I'm not going to be thinking, oh my God, that girl looks like she's sweating. That guy over there looks like, you know, I mean, listen, let me tell you something. When we were playing, just after whoever attacked the French place with the band called Jesse. I can't remember the name of this band though. Eagles of Death Metal.
Yeah.
Just after that, we were playing a show in England, in Birmingham, and I remember being on stage, and we like the doors opened up, and then people came in the club, and next thing you know, there's like 3 guys in there who didn't look like they should be in the show, and they got bags with them. I'm on stage singing the songs, and normally I'm running up and down like crazy. I'm stood in the middle of the stage going as close as the drummer I could be. I'm right back at the stage, at the front of the stage. I'm back here going, still. Right. And after I come off, I thought, you know what? You just judge them people because they don't look like they're in the metal, and because they got bags with them, you judge them people. And I said to myself from that day on, I'm gonna play every night like it's my last night, no matter what. And I wouldn't let it spoil me again. I wouldn't let it spoil my fun again.
Right on, brother. I appreciate that. And yeah, we all want to feel safe and comfortable. And I mean, listen, we go to a rock or a metal show, we have a little drink, we punch a little punch in the mosh pit. We all look like we're sick after.
Of course, bro. Listen, like I said, I will not let this thing dictate to me and my performance. No way. Yeah. No way.
Hopefully we keep up on the positive tip and we get safe.
That's all. I mean, listen, sometimes I get down and I won't confess it with my mouth. I prefer to say I'm okay. I'm working out myself until the time comes up, Yeah, man.
Yeah, I think one thing this whole experience taught us all is it's okay to not be okay and let people know, but some people keep it in and,
Listen, bro, when I talk about mental illness, I'm fucking crackers out there, crazy, gone, local. Send me up the river. I've been mental for a long time. So when I confess something, I want people to hear me, and it's the same for them as it is for me. And we all got to be there as people for people, because I'm in a band full of fucking crackers people. They're crazy. You know what I mean? They're mental. Everybody in my band is local. But you know what? We're all local together. And when it comes to pouring out our hearts to each other, let's be there then too, because that's what's important.
Right on. Between Dub War and now Skindred, 30 plus years in the music business, you got to be a little insane to make it.
Oh yeah, listen, it's funny because like I say to the guys in the band, like it's an achievement. Never mind, it's an achievement being in the same room with the people. I've been in the band with Skindred 20 years with the same lineup. That's award-winning, bro. I've been with 16 white women since that, and I can't get rid of them 3 white boys. You know what I'm saying? Honestly, right God. So we got to be doing something right. We got to fit some way. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and a band can be like, it is like a marriage. So it's a tribute to you guys that you kept the same lineup.
It is definitely a marriage. It is definitely a marriage. It is. And I mean, and it's like you said, it's not always a match made in heaven, but you got to push through. You got to pull through. I mean, you know what kills me when we go on tour with a band, and I mean the 4-piece band, whatever. We go on tour with a band, and then you go on tour with them in 2 years' time, and there's like 2 new members, and you got to make friends with them, and it's heartbreaking, but not everybody can work through it. And we're fortunate that to this day, we've been able to work through it all.
Right on. And talking about that history with Skindred, I know you guys have a re-release coming up of Roots Rock Riot, which is to me still, I've been listening to it a lot yet to talk to you and get ready to chat. And it's still fresh, man. It's still a fresh record.
Lyrically, I think with all what's going on in the world, with the politics and the madness and the bullshit, lyrically, I think it's more on point than it ever was. It seems like a future record, and when they said that we had the opportunity to get it on vinyl, I was like, yes, because I'm collecting my vinyl. And I didn't have that on vinyl. So I was like, yeah, but going back and listening to it, I can honestly say it's more, at that point, I think as a vocalist and as a singer in a band, writing lyrics, I was more truthful than I ever was. And I just, reflecting and looking back now, it's like these songs are so, they could have been written yesterday about the same world. It's a shame because the world ain't changed. If anything, it's got worse, which is the sad thing. But it's very relevant. The album's very relevant, and I'm excited to have the vinyl in my hand to look at all the artwork like I used to when I first got the Police's first album, and I was looking at, and I got the Sex Pistols' first album. I just remember getting an album and holding that, because £10 to me as a kid growing up was a lot of money, bro. And when I actually decided to go into town and go, right, I'm going to buy the Police's album, I'm going to buy the Clash's album, giving that £10 was hard work. But when I got that vinyl home and put it down, and I tell you what, I'd open it up. I love the ones that you'd have the sleeve, but then they had the sleeve with the stuff on the sleeve too. So you had you had the book, then you had all that shit in there as well. And I think vinyl is, CDs are cool, but vinyl is something special. I think it's like something that we all treasure a lot more. I got vinyl in the corner of that room I've had since I was 8. I got CDs, I don't even know where they are. But the vinyl, you keep, you treasure, you know? I'm looking forward to having that.
What was your first vinyl? Was it the Police or
No, the first vinyl I bought, there was a band, a British band, they were a ska band. And I went to town, my auntie gave me £10. That's a lot of money. Yeah. I went to this, but the cool thing is I went to a punk rock store. And I swear, I was stood there. I'm at the counter like this, like a little kid looking at these records. And I said, have you got Looney Tunes by Bad Manners? And he said to me, no, we ain't got it. We're having it in next week. That was the beautiful thing about buying vinyl. You know, as a kid, they never had the records. You went there. I only heard the one song on the radio, and I was like, I'm buying that. But that was the beautiful thing about chasing the music. You go to a store, you want the record. They ain't got the record. You got to wait 2 weeks for it to come in. So I waited the 2 weeks, and then it came in, and I went to collect it. I took it home. I took it home like I was carrying, like, you know, like Jackknife or some shit. Just holding it out in front of me, walking down the street, like looking at it all the way home. And that was the first record I bought. That was Looney Tunes, Bad Manners.
Bad Manners is killer, man. That's great.
Yeah, I mean, I think because these guys, all these guys in this band, when I was listening to music, it, you know, I mean, as a kid growing up, and then all of a sudden, all these people who are on stage and in these bands, and in these punk bands and in these rock bands, they look like kids who lived in my street, and I can identify with them. And that's why I said, I want to be that. I want to do that. That's what I want to do. You know, because they can do it, and they look like they live 2 doors down. You know, so I can do it too. And that was the inspiration for me, seeing these people on stage like the Specials and the Clash and the Pistols, and knowing that they look like kids who hang around my neighborhood. You know,
right?
So
on.
That's what made it possible for me to say I want to do that. I want to be in a band like that.
Right on. It's funny that you mentioned those very earliest bands, because the thing that they have in common is, even though, you know, I know Big Things is a big hit and party record, but you've always been very politically active and very outspoken your whole life, your whole career, about, you know, what's not right in the world and how to get right.
Well, it's injustice. I tend to, it's like this, right? Listen, Trump or Biden, two assholes as far as I'm concerned. I don't care. I'll tell you the truth. But what I'm trying to say is between them two assholes, there's a lot of beautiful people. So if I can reach the beautiful people and they can hear what I'm saying, I always look at it like this, right? If someone was on a bus going home and someone had the Skindred album and just the lyric page fell out, they never heard the music, never heard anything. They picked it up and they started looking at it. I'd want the lyrics, just the words alone, to touch them and go, wow, I felt something in this. I felt something reading this poetry. There was no music. So I always wanted to, like I said, there's good and bad in all, and I just want the good people at my party, you know. And I know the good people will allow others to do what the fuck they want to without judging them.
Right on. The other thing I love, going back and reflecting on Roots Rock Riot, is I love your singing. I think it's the record you really sort of found your voice even more than ever before. I love the just beautiful singing on this record. And it makes the lyrics come through even more, like Rat Race and Trouble and State of Emergency, just hits you even that much harder. Like between the debut and the second record, was it just from touring? Was it just you got to a place in your career like, oh, I'm going to sing more now? Or was there something that changed?
No. I'll be honest with you. I think during the release of the first Babylon and Roots Rock Riot, I had a life-changing experience. I was with someone for like 20 years. And I ended up leaving them and going with somebody else. And it wasn't like a freedom, but there was a lot of crying going on inside me vocally, you know. So I think there was a lot of that energy that went onto the record, in all honesty. And you got to remember, we were in Iran and Iraq. We was doing all that war shit. And at that time, we were like, there's always something hanging on this, like, you know. At that time, we were dealing with the Twin Towers and all that stuff. So that was affecting me lyrically, and I was just crying because I cry for the world and the state that people are, and the greed and all that bollocks that people just keep churning out and spoon feeding us, you know. And that's what I think. That's where my mind was at that point.
I feel like we were all crying together back then, actually, at that time, and we are again now.
Yeah, I know. It's just hurtful. You know, it just seems like this is the plight of us all to have a few years of going, okay, what's happening next? And then we find out, you know, and it just gets, I wouldn't say worse, but it just gets more crazy. Just more crazy. I mean, if someone said to me I wouldn't be able to leave my house because there's a virus in the street 10 years ago, I'd say, shut the fuck up, don't be stupid. And it's true. Right. It's like I said, it's like an episode of Black Mirror that we can't get out of.
Imagine, you know, or grandparents or great grandparents had other plagues and they didn't have the opportunities, and technology can be a blessing or a curse. We discussed that earlier offline, but yeah, it's weird that, I mean, imagine if we didn't have social media, we didn't have Zoom or Skype, and we were just kind of all alone.
If we didn't have any of that, we wouldn't miss it because we wouldn't have had it. You know, I mean, when I was a kid and I'd say to somebody, well, not even a kid, 20 years ago, if I said, I'll meet you Wednesday outside the cinema at 6 o'clock, I had no way of finding out whether you were going to be there. I just had to trust you, you know, and that's the way it was. And we did that. And now we're just lazy. I mean, I text people, are you there? Are you coming now? Come on, what the fuck? You know, it's just like, you know, I think we as human beings, we are resolveful and we will push forward no matter what. So if they took all this, if the grid went down tomorrow, we'd learn to deal with it because that's what we do. You know, I mean, listen, I don't want the grid go down because I want to do this. It's fun. But if it should fall down tomorrow, we'd have to deal with it. There's nothing more we could do. You know, listen, we got to play the game of life with the cards that we've been dealt. You can't hand it back. You can't say reshuffle. None of that shit. There's the card. Play, motherfucker.
That's it. That's it.
And listen, life is not snap, it's poker.
And that's true. Or chess. I like to think of it as chess, right? It's
strategy. Yeah. I always say, people say like 100-meter dash or a marathon. It's definitely a marathon.
Not a sprint. I feel like if everything went to hell worse than it has tomorrow, we'd be like on some Mad Max shit.
Yeah, I think, listen, it was funny because I posted something. I posted the picture of my, I posted a picture of Tupac and Dr. Dre in the desert in that video. And I said, when do we get to dress like this? It just seemed so surreal when they were telling us to stay in our homes and you got to wash your hands and wear face masks. And now you go to stores and there's plastic grids everywhere. And like I've been watching the crazy court case they got going on over there. That's full of like, everybody's like in their social distance. It's just crazy. It's just crazy.
Well, we're gonna get through it. You know, we've made.
We're gonna get it right. That's the word, bro. We're gonna get it right in the end.
Yeah, I think so. I think we're gonna be okay. What else is going on? Obviously, you guys are working on new music.
Yeah. Well, okay. Let me hit you up with this. I've been writing some Dub War stuff with my boys from Dub War. I was with Dub War. We was there for years. We did 2 albums, I think, and then we disbanded. And me and a couple of the guys got together and we wrote in a new album. Because of the pandemic, we got a great drummer. The drummer's great, but I said, just to make more of a story and more vibes, I reached out to Mike Borden from Faith No More, who plays drums, and I asked him to do a track. I reached out to Roy Miyago from Stone Sour, asked him to play a track. I reached out to Tanner Wayne from In Flames, asked him to play a track. So I got a bunch of different drummers playing on the Dub War album. So that should be out with us, I'd say, later this year. So I'm excited about that. That's really good. I did a children's book, which is fun, called Colin the Kitten. The Wonderful Adventures of Colin the Kitten. That's what it's called. So I did that. And now at the moment, I'm working on a cartoon with that as well. And it's definitely not an adult cartoon, just so you know, it's a kid's cartoon. It's for children. It's like banana splits, you know, it's for kids.
Dude, that's amazing. I'm so excited about both of those things. I love Dub War, and I was wondering if we would get some more.
Yeah, you can definitely. I mean, we're mixing at the moment. We did something for BBC recently. So yeah, everything's going forward. Just waiting for this thing to calm the fuck down so we can all get back on with life, you know?
Right on, brother. I'm so appreciative of that. Just sort of as a last question, man, I wanted to ask you, you've seen so much and done so much. If you could go back to the very beginning or before the beginning and give yourself a piece of advice for now, what would you go back and tell yourself? Younger Benji.
Keep shaking the bush, bro. Keep shaking the bush. Something's going to drop out.
All right.
Just got to keep shaking it, bro. Keep shaking it. That's all you got to do. Because I think what as a kid growing up, I thought this time, see where we are now, I expected it to be like this. And it's been more like this, you know? A gradual climb. And if you asked me when I was a kid, would you want a gradual or do you want to go straight there? I'd have said I want to go straight there. I know I would have. But now I go back and tell myself, enjoy the ride. Strap on. Enjoy the ride. The gradual ride is better than the in and out.
Right on, brother. Thank you so much, Benji. It's a pleasure. We've finally got to do this.
Yeah, we did it. And hopefully when the record comes out, we'll do it again.
In person next time.
Yes, man. That's the vibe. That's the vibe. Yeah. Have a wonderful day, brother. I'll catch you again soon. Thank you for your time and energy.